Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Halon's YouTube channel. It's been well over a year since I posted a video. I've been very busy with IRL job and all that stuff, so it's been hectic over here. But Halo TV series is back, so you know that means I'm reacting to this garbage. All right, let's dive right into it. So we got two episodes titled Sanctuary and Sword. We're just going to kind of cover them both in this episode here in this video for you guys today. Just going to talk about it, be real nitty gritty with it. Yeah, not really going to hold back. We're just going to kind of dive right into it. So we start off kind of similar how we started off season 1 with a little bit of maybe some weird build-up dialogue. This was a little bit better, though, than how we started off season 1 with Useless Quan and her friends. This kind of gave us a more in-depth look into what happens when humanity gets a glassing done to their world, and not the actual glassing we get to see, but more or less like the people that are living here on this planet, clearly refugees from another planet that's potentially been glassed or just destroyed in general by the Covenant. These people have been relocated to this planet, living into primitive means, so to speak, or at least very, very low standards as compared to what the Halo universe would be, as would if you look at Reach or some of the other planets, Earth, whatever it may be. We get a look into that. It's very, very gritty, which I did like the look of that. It's more grounded, as Halo is always supposed to be. Halo is in a sci-fi fantasy world, so to speak, but it's more or less kind of, I think, more geared towards the science fiction side, and it's always been grounded as to give you the feel that this really could happen, as to versus like Star Wars or Star Trek or something along those lines. That's a little more sci-fi fantasy and a little more like way, it would be way into the future of some sort. Halo could essentially be, 200 years down the corner or whatever. I believe it was 52 around those times and whatnot, so I guess 500 years, so to speak, but still right around the corner or whatnot. So this gives us this gritty feel, and the team chemistry, I feel like the chemistry between Silver Team is starting to build a little bit more. We're starting to get a little bit more in depth with their story, how they treat each other, how they talk to each other. I like their interactions a little bit more in these first couple episodes than I did the majority of last season. So we're starting off on the right foot on that. However, there's still sign of some useless little dialogue. I mean, I don't know what this lady with the gray hair, what the point of her was supposed to be. She's some kind of weird religious zealot. They seem to be pushing that narrative again this season like they did last season with these weird mystic beings of some sort. I don't know why we're trying to do that when Halo's supposed to be more realistic and more grounded, so kind of weird, whatever, thrown off. And then, Master Chief goes off to look for a missing team at a relay outpost that has been disabled. Goes into the fog, finds the team. They get ambushed by a group of cloaked, a little more like an armada of cloaked elites, which I like this, that they added this in. However, the one thing that I do have to nitpick, as great as this, because this, again, as I will continue to probably state for this entire season like I did last season, I don't know who's in charge of the effects crew. Won't say necessarily the costume design, but the effects crew, CGI, all that stuff. Give those fucking people a raise, man. God, they are the best part of the show, and they are saving it time and time again with as phenomenal as the effects and the CGI looks. Like everything, picture quality, it's phenomenal. It looks like Halo, and it's awesome. But when the Master Chief finds these Marines, gets them located, and then the cloaked elites come out, ambush and whatnot, the one little nitpicky I have of this, and it was kind of how I was feeling about last season too, especially with the jackals with energy swords. God, that was so bad. Don't ever do that again. 343 is that there seems to be, like, every time we get an elite on screen, they are carrying an energy sword, which, again, if you're paying attention to the lore and understand Halo and even have a basic understanding of Halo, even if all you played was the games in Halo and that's it, you didn't read any books, you didn't get all nerdy like into it like I did with some of the stuff, some of the comics, graphic novels, and the regular novelizations and whatnot, but if all you did was play the games, how often did you see an elite with an energy sword? It was kind of a rare, it wasn't a rare occurrence, so to speak, but you didn't see a multitude of elites carrying energy swords. They were always carrying regular weaponry that the Covenant issued to their standard infantry. Carbines, plasma rifles, needlers, whatever. But the energy swords were saved for the elites of higher tier class. And you had to be, and it was a real honor to carry the weapon. So I'm kind of annoyed seeing just about every elite we've seen on screen freaking carry one. So if we could dumb that down just a little bit and have more plasma rifles, carbines, things of that nature, whatever. Other than that, I thought this scene with the plant being able to see glassing, still not quite as good as the Halo Wars 2 cutscenes. Those are always going to be my favorite, and what I feel like a Halo TV show motion captured, that's the way they should have gone, all in all. But the glassing looks very, very good for the CGI and the budget and everything they got. It looks phenomenal for what, and you can probably tell that most often that's where the majority of the CGI budget and things went, to show effects like that, and it's great. It is phenomenal. Transitioning a little bit back into the Silver Team, almost called them Blue Team. Jeez, I'm getting real bad at that. Silver Team heading back to Reach and being debriefed by Captain Admiral Keyes. Is he an admiral now? I thought I heard them say something along the lines of an admiral. Wonder when he got his promotion, I guess, in the last 6 months. That being said, we have a new character, Atkinson, coming in. I cannot remember the actor's name right now that is playing him, but this character came, I don't remember the graphic novel, but I do remember reading the graphic novel and seeing this character and him coming in to the Halo universe and playing like kind of this antagonist style character towards the Spartans and whatnot, and kind of taking over the program and being there and being involved. And I think this actor has done a phenomenal job capturing that character, like capturing one of the original canon characters from the canon, or the, I don't want to say canon, that sounds like we were, anyways, capturing the character of what was originally created. And I think I read somewhere that this guy was actually like a massive Halo fan and like real nerdy about it like me, and dove into the graphic novels and some of the novelizations and whatnot and the comic books and all that stuff. So clearly was able to embody that character very well, to give a very antagonistic human character now to deal with what they feel like they were trying to do with Dr. Halsey in season 1. But as I stated in season 1, Dr. Halsey is crazy person, but she's not the bad guy they were trying to portray her as. So Silver Team kind of reacting to that, not being too happy with that. As we continue to go on through the episode, we get a lot of useless filler stuff that I really don't even want to cover or talk about, because it's just, if they wanted to go down this route of creating a drama-filled Halo show, I do not feel like the Master Chief was having the Master Chief as the main story front character was the right way to go, because the Spartans, unless we're talking about Spartan 4s that have been created through 343's games, Spartan 2s and even Spartan 3s are not emotional characters like that. They are not so driven on their emotions and just like woohoo pity party. Like, they are soldiers and they are machines. But the one thing I will talk about with the kind of the useless filler stuff that we got, that I really was not a fan of at all, was the interaction with Cobalt Team, the other Spartan 2s. Any other regular Halo fans out there that have played all the games, or any other nerdy Halo fans like myself, if you have played Halo Wars 2, and I mean for all the nerdy Halo fans like myself, you already know where I'm going with this. There is one particular line, and I want to say it was Jerome that said it, not Douglas. I want to say it was Jerome that said it, but when Isabel mentions that the Master Chief had been at the Ark and fought the Covenant, or fought the Brutes, fought the Prophet of Truth, his army there at the end, and saved the world, I believe it was Jerome that mentioned, oh, it's good to hear that John is still back in the fight, taking care of everything. These Spartan 2s, and if you watch some of the animation shows and you read some of the comic books and the training whatnot, the Spartan 2s have an ungodly amount of respect for each other, especially all the Spartan 2s when it comes to the Master Chief in general. Their respect for him is just substantiated, at an substantiated level. Like, he is a god in their eyes, and they respect him to the highest of degrees. So to see this type of interaction with his team, when I would have understood if these guys maybe were Spartan 4s. I don't even want to say Spartan 4s, but I want to say maybe ODSTs, because ODSTs always seem to have a beef with Spartans no matter what. They were not the biggest fan of Spartans, rightfully so. The Spartans were kind of taking their place, especially the Spartan 4s, but these are Spartan 2s that were put in the training camp together, that grew up together. It's just with the Spartan, the chip they have that prevents their emotions from getting the best of them. Like, it's just, they wouldn't interact like this. It just doesn't make sense. Like, they're a brother and sisterhood. Like, they would not treat each other like this. So I was just not a fan of that interaction, even though that the Cobalt leader and the Master Chief, I don't even remember his name right now, the Cobalt leader and the Master Chief, they kind of had a little bit of a respect, so to speak. He wasn't kind of really getting on the Chief too bad, but yeah, just really wasn't a fan of that at all. It just, And of course, as always, the stuff with the pirates, useless filler. Not even big fan of it. Best part about it is Soren. That's it. Love this actor. Love the way he's portraying the character. Like his kid too, like the wife, but just, I don't really care to see this pirate stuff. I mean, if you want to show the insurrection and the rebels, great. But don't really care about this pirate crap. It's kind of useless. And, you know, obviously, Soren, spoiler alert ahead, Soren messes around with the wrong guy, trusts the wrong redhead, who ends up being basically essentially a Halo Fed, and gets him kidnapped and gets him taken in for all of his crimes against the UNSC, after he tricks him into making him believe that Dr. Halsey is somewhere. And it looks like his crew pretty much kind of sold him out, so to speak. So we'll see how that plays out. And of course, at the very end of episode 1, guess who decides to make an appearance there? And it's been filling Soren's kid's head with all these crazy freaking thoughts. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kwan's back. And that's pretty much, I mean, episode 1. I mean, again, just like with most of the stuff last season, I mean, it's the CGI and the battle scenes that are pretty much saving it for me. I mean, the story is just what they're trying to build up. I mean, with Atkinson and the Master Chief's interaction, saying the whole play on Atkinson thinking that the Master Chief's going crazy, that you're not really seeing anything, that this Corporal Perez girl, sorry, I forgot to mention her. She was actually a pretty decent character, and we'll see how far and see where that goes. With her character, and not coming forward with being the only survivor on that planet, and seeing what the Chief saw, and this Atkinson and Chief going back and forth, him thinking the Chief's crazy and that he's not actually seeing this stuff and whatnot. Or as it turns out, you know, kind of diving into episode 2 here a little bit, that he is in recognition of what's actually going on, and he doesn't want to have the world, or rather Reach, go into panic because the Covenant are here. Diving into episode 2, you know, we get some more useless filler stuff, especially at the beginning with Kwan, which I don't understand what was going on here. And here's where I'm gonna have a little bit of a controversial take for you guys. I'm absolutely fed up with this narrative that we need to push certain types of characters just to say, hey, we're diverse, we got this. Specifically, I don't think that a lot of the times that women are getting done real good justice when it comes to these shows. I feel like they're getting very shitty characters to represent their gender. If they wanted to push the narrative of a strong female character, like a physically strong female character, why do we have Kwan over here that's got freaking Captain America superpowers, freaking knocking freaking guys off railings and hitting them 35 different ways? Why are we not focusing the story on Riz or Kai? Like Spartan women that were augmented with certain things to actually make them physically superior to the normal human, to which having action scenes like that would make sense, and it would fit correctly, and it would make sense that they're able to do certain things like that. But no, we got a freaking teenage girl that's out here freaking throwing grown ass men to their off balconies and into space, and just like, dude, like, what the hell's going on? Like, useless. Don't understand what the hell's going on with this. And then episode 2, you know, the Chief, he's kind of trying to figure out what's going on and why he can't get a hold of Cobalt Team, because it thought that Cobalt Team was sent on an actual realistic mission to the Outer Rim about some other relay, which they do mention the same relay that is from as the Chief continues his diving and whatnot, he has his suspicions, you know, obviously that the Covenant are going to eventually show up to reach or get close to inner colonies, whatever it may be. The Chief continues to do his research, and in the midst of his research, he is doing a lot of training with his team to keep his team on their toes, and he's pushing his team. And obviously, Riz is having some major issues, still hasn't recovered from what happened to her at the end of season 1. Which shout out to Marvin Jones III, Crondon, my boy from Black Lightning, popped up. to help her. And I actually really liked, for some reason it might just be because I like the actor so much, but I really liked his character and what little we got of him. I mean, a semi, I guess the idea was that he was a temporary Spartan, almost like taking Temp V, like from The Boys season 3 and whatnot, like what Butcher and Huey were doing, taking some temporary Spartan augmentation, but ended up causing him to lose his sight and whatnot. But he tries to help Riz out with getting her wounds taken care of and whatnot. But eventually, as the chief continues to, as they come back in and see to which, this was really nice. This is where the part where it kind of keeps Halo a little bit grounded and realistic. Really nice was that instead of like a digitized or digital hologram or whatever, we've got an actual physical board that somebody's in charge of, where all the Spartans are listed, which there were a couple I'll call it expanded universe Halo Spartan teams up there that if you're a real nerd, you'll recognize them when you see them up there, and it was pretty cool to actually see that. Now, it was nice that they were able to see that, but obviously the chief and the rest of the Silver team discover that, Cobalt's been put on standby when they haven't returned. Very weird. And the chief goes to Grill Atkinson about, jeez, I can't even say his name right now. Atkinson about it, and wasn't working very well. Didn't want to give him any information. He tries to go to Kai to get some more information out about the chief. Doesn't work very well. Stays loyal to the team. Got her brother's back. The chief dives in. Here's where things did start to get a little bit more interesting. So obviously, the stuff we've got to see with Dr. Halsey. She's in some kind of Oni prison, whatnot. Not sure what Homeboy's plan is with that exactly, what route he's going down. But now we get our quick little cameo from, basically call it a cameo at this point, of Cortana. AI looks a little funny, a little weird. I know she looks more like an AI now. Still not quite on board with the way she looks. Maybe they're heading in the right direction since she looks more AI-ish now. So, I guess, great, awesome, cool. Hopefully we're going to do that. Still voiced by Jen Taylor. Awesome, phenomenal to hear her voice no matter what. Those lines are always going to be read perfectly if it's her voice. So, we continue to move that narrative, and it just kind of felt stale up until, the last about, I'd say, 10 minutes when the chief is kind of really doing a deep dive into where Cobalt was sent to find out that they were sent somewhere on Reach to reach a relay of some sort. And then we get a cutscene with a couple squads of Marines fighting against apparently one elite who is supposedly, some of the community is stating that this is the Arbiter. Armor doesn't look like his too much, I don't think. Maybe I'll have to go back and do another watch. Armor doesn't really look like his too much. Looks more like kind of the elites that were on that refugee world that the Silver team was at when it got glassed. But and then guess who shows up right in the end, guys? Makes that final appearance. Maki. Woo! She's back. Guess she didn't die when Kai shot her in the head or whatever, wherever the hell she shot her at. Guess she ain't dead, so she back from the dead, baby. She back. So Chief's gonna get Cortana and that girl at the same time, and it's gonna be a rough. Never mind, we're not even gonna get into that anyways. Once Maki is, revealed, the Chief obviously gets his team together, doesn't tell them exactly where they're going, makes up kind of a story, gets the Condor clear, and then they're headed for the Relay Outpost, which if you guys did hear the name, yes, that was a callback, or rather a reference immediately to Halo Reach and to what Noble Team does, or what Noble Team, the relay station that Noble Team goes to. So, obviously, Silver Team's going to be the team to probably call in, winter contingency, Cole Protocol needs to be active, whatever, because Covenant are now on Reach, and we have fully discovered that. Also, 343, do not fuck this up. Get us a cameo of Noble Team, but do not fuck it up. If you guys have Noble 5 or Noble 6 take their helmets off, I'm gonna lose. I think the community's gonna lose my I don't know if I can watch the show after that, so don't do that. 6 and 5 keep their, I'm sorry, not 6 and 5 is George. 4, Emil. 6 and 4 keep their helmets on. Do not take it off. Now, overall, as far as the episodes go, I'd probably say maybe 4 out of 10 for both. The CGI special effects is great, but just the story up until the end of the second episode, the plot really wasn't moving along very well for me. I feel like they were just kind of giving some of these characters stuff to do, and that was it, but it wasn't exciting, fun stuff to do. And again, I'm going to keep harping on it. If you guys wanted to create an emotional drama for Halo of some sort, you should have did a story about a squad of ODSTs, or a squad of regular Marines and their perspective on the Human Covenant War and everything that's going on. Or if you wanted to do a retelling with Master Chief, you can still create a whole lot of emotion, because there's a whole lot of emotion with the Master Chief between Halo 1 all the way up until Halo Infinite, and we never see this man we never see this man's face. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back next week for episode 3, and just hopefully this narrative gets better. That's all I can know, because obviously the CGI, as I mentioned, is top tier. It's great, it's phenomenal, it's excellent, it's wonderful and amazing. But Halon signing off.